Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says Vice President Sara Duterte's recent allegations against President Bongbong Marcos are merely another attempt to have him removed from office so she could take over. Castro is reacting to a statement Duterte made during an interview in the Netherlands on August 20, where she said Marcos smelled of alcohol when he received her resignation as Education Secretary in June 2024. Castro dismisses the Vice President's remarks, saying it was easy for Duterte to make up stories so she could become president herself. In Wednesday's interview, Duterte countered Castro's remark that her stint as Education Secretary was a complete failure and recalled what happened the day she submitted her resignation to Marcos. According to the Vice President, Marcos tried to persuade her to reconsider her resignation by offering another position in his cabinet. He also supposedly asked Duterte if she could assist in the 2025 midterm elections. For Duterte, Marcos's actions were those of a person who was not looking at her as a failure, but rather as someone who needed her service. She also remarked how Marcos supposedly smelled of alcohol that morning when she tendered her resignation. However, Castro remains firm that Duterte's tenure as Education Secretary had failed. Castro says Duterte herself admitted she had no expertise in formulating the Panatag curriculum when she said she didn't know anything about it. The palace official also cites the gadgets and laptops that were not delivered to schools during Duterte's term as DepEd chief. During the budget deliberations in 2024, lawmakers called out DepEd for its failure to deliver laptops in 2023, resulting in a low utilization of its budget. A West Philippine Sea monitor says one of the Chinese research ships off Scarborough Shoal has left the area, while a Philippine Coast Guard vessel continues to patrol outside the shoal's exclusion zone. Scarborough Shoal is otherwise known as Panatag Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc. Sea Light Director Ray Powell tells the Inquirer that Shangyang Hong 10 began departing Panatag on Thursday, August 21. Powell says the Chinese vessel was spotted about 100 nautical miles away from the shoal. However, Powell knows that the ship has moved west of the shoal and not towards China. According to Powell, it was hard to say why the Chinese ship left when the reason it was near the shoal was unknown in the first place. However, he says the drone mothership Zhu Haiyun remains at the shoal. Aside from Zhu Haiyun, Powell says 6 China Coast Guard ships and 6 maritime militia vessels remain within the 25 to 30 nautical mile exclusion zone off Panatag Shoal as of Thursday. On the other hand, Powell says PCG's BRP Cape San Agustin is patrolling outside the shoal's exclusion zone. On August 11, a collision occurred between a People's Liberation Army Navy warship and a China Coast Guard vessel during a botched attempt to obstruct a PCG mission for Filipino fisherfolk. Beijing's actions reflect what Powell terms exclusion zone enforcement around the shoal. The 2016 arbitral ruling recognized Scarborough Shoal as a traditional fishing ground for the Philippines, China, and Vietnam. Senate President Pro Tempore Estrada says no ghost flood control project in the country will prosper without the involvement of the Commission on Audit. In an ambush interview, Estrada says the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee should invite COA representatives to the next hearing on the anomalous flood control projects. Senator Ping Lacson earlier revealed in a privileged speech that funds for certain projects are divided based on supposed greed from both the public and private sectors, leaving only crumbs for actual implementation. Lacson said 0.5 to 1% of a flood control fund goes to the COA. According to Lacson, his research is supported by information from insiders and contractors of the Department of Public Works and Highways and other open sources. Meanwhile, Estrada admits he's not aware of how the so-called pie sharing works, but maintains that COA is involved in such a scheme. Estrada also thinks the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee's investigation will still take a long time. Earlier, President Bongbong Marcos revealed the top 15 contractors that had secured most of the government's flood control deals. 7 of these firms attended the Blue Ribbon panel's hearing, while the remaining 8 will be summoned to appear before the Senate in the next scheduled probe. Fast food giant Jollibee Foods Corporation is disqualifying invalid major prize winners from the Week 3 raffle draw of its Burger Blowout promo. This comes after an investigation into a now-deleted post containing the list of winners from the Week 3 draw, which netizens had recently questioned. Netizens pointed to names on the list that are possibly fake or generated by artificial intelligence. In a statement, Jollibee says it discovered that during its Week 3 draw, fraudulent third parties deliberately exploited the system by submitting multiple unauthorized entries despite existing safeguards. The fast food chain explains they already implemented corrective measures to address concerns. They say they also requested the Department of Trade and Industry's approval to temporarily suspend the succeeding raffle draws. The company says a redraw will be conducted to ensure fairness and compliance with the rules. Following the incident, Jollibee says it will hold a special raffle as a gesture of appreciation for the community. Jollibee also says it has reinforced its verification and validation processes in compliance with the directive of the DTI to uphold the integrity of the promo and prevent similar incidents in the future. Meanwhile, the DTI in a separate statement assures the public that it will remain vigilant in monitoring trade promotions to protect consumers and maintain an enabling environment for businesses.